Hey, I think that we are live on the air. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fun in the Country Basement for this Sunday, May 19th of 2019. And I guess that's all the excitement that you get. Welcome to all of you, and we got Chris and Walter here with us today. Usually I make Walter go first, but today I'm going to have Chris go first.
All right. Hello, everyone. How are you? It's Sunday. I am Chris from Chris's Basement, and I am currently in my basement, so that's fitting. Hopefully we can get something done today. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to work on some printer bot parts and just hang out and chat with you all. I have some great questions to ask about sourcing parts from different places. So it's going to be a good time. I'll let you have it, Walter.
What are you giving me? I need something.
I shipped the filler drive to you.
You did ship the filler drive. Hey, I'm Walter, and I'm Kuntry 3D. Here hanging out with Chris and Glenn. I don't know what I'm going to work on today. I thought about doing the rep box, but I don't know that I really want to. I want to give it my full attention, and that'll be a good 2-hour stream for me to do. So probably won't do that today. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to print a watch holder for our new Walt Disney World annual pass band things we got. So that's what I'm going to do today. That and bug Chris and Glenn to the best of my ability. So that's it. All right, Glenn, chat's yours.
All right. Well, as far as projects for me today, I don't think I'm really going to be working on anything. I might just putter around a little bit. Maybe actually try to pay attention to the chat today. First, I want to give a shout out to Matt Jake from State Farm for being first, and and then Stephen the Lightspeed for immediately saying first after that, and then saying being first is stupid. Being first is dumb. But Skalda is here, Uncle Ron, Kuntry 3D, RCCNC, more Uncle Ron. Sean Gould is here. Michael Fox is here. Robbie Mack is here. 3D Print Viking. Jeff Slater. Mitch H. Techie Dad. Sean Butler. Bob S. Chris Galata. If I repeat these, too bad. David Houghton. Bennett 3D Maker Kid is here. Tom 3D Printing Llama is here. 3D Medic Vince. Lots of repeats. Sergio HVAC A to Z is here. Inside the Mind of Matt is here. Mike Never Let the Machines Win is here. Ricky Tanner 3D. Darren Anton. Carl from NAC 3D Designs. Grandpa Joe 3D is here. Casadel Wackos is here. Andrew S. Net Keys. 3D Printing Noob. The Guinness. Dave W. I think that's everybody.
David Houghton. It's pronounced Houghton.
It's Houghton?
Houghton, yeah. Glenn Hogue. That's it. Now we're caught up. And Mike just peed himself because you said his name.
Who peed himself? Oh. If only that were
I don't know
true.
about y'all. Glenn, I don't know what the temperature is where you're at, but it's freaking hot.
Hot.
I was telling Uncle Ron before this, and I'm gonna make this announcement. If you're in the North Florida area and you have a 10,000 or above BTU window unit you're not using, let me know. I will come get it, because that little I think it's actually a 3500 that's in there. It was cool in here when I came in here. It felt cool from coming from outside, but now I've turned on this heat bed behind me. It's no longer cool in here at all. None whatsoever.
Yeah, I had two 15,000 BTU roof-mounted units on my RV, and they would run just 24 hours a day to keep that thing cool.
Yeah. Oh,
and everybody's outside and 50 in his basement.
Yeah, everybody's being they're all being funny that this edition of FKB is brought to you by Filler Dry.
I don't think Filler Dry be bringing us anything.
I don't think so.
Matt Jake from State Farm says you can click the 3 dots next to the chat, and there's an option to give you a list of who's in chat, but it doesn't work. We've tried it. It misses people. There's something buggy about it.
Oh, hey, you're lucky this is Glenn's channel, Matt. I would have told you something, buddy.
And apparently what he would have told you is not family friendly.
It's not family friendly. Matter of fact, I got this toothpick right here, and if you turn it sideways, there's a place you could put it that would make me happy.
Only 61 outside here now. 61 would be wonderful.
Oh, wouldn't it though, man? Oh, it would be so good.
Sean Gold said, time to switch printing on blue tape without a heated bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing how much, I mean, not, obviously we know how much heat they get to, but how much residual heat you pick up off of a 3D printer. Having that aluminum plate just radiating that heat the whole time.
Yeah, and I have everything else off in here. There's nothing other than my computer and that printer. There's nothing else on in here. Well, a couple of LED lights, but
yeah, back when I lived alone before I was married and stuff, I had all of my computers in my bedroom, and I think I was running 4 at the time, and I finally decided to move them out into their own room, and it was amazing how much cooler it was in my room at that point. But I did have to get a white noise generator. I couldn't sleep because there was no fans running.
Hey, Ricky, you don't have to like run or anything. Just lay down. You'll float right into that club.
Well, actually, you don't want to run, because if you run, you're running into the rain that's falling and you'll get more wet.
Well, yeah, wasn't it Mythbusters that
I do believe that. Yeah, I do believe that is the outcome that they came up with.
More wet by running than walking in a downpour, even if you don't have an umbrella.
Right, because when you're walking, you're only getting wet on the horizontal surfaces, but when you run, you're catching it all on the vertical surface.
Yeah, Ricky, I hate that, buddy. I understand. You got to tote your equipment in the rain. That sucks.
Got to learn to play the old jug.
Just change your show to Hee Haw.
Yeah, I was always envious of the harmonica player.
Yeah.
David Olson? Yes. Yes, because you have 1 point of failure on the filler drive. Well, you have multiple points of failure, but there's no safety features other than the thermistor being there. So
yeah, but I wonder if that board, I mean, that board has to have some logic behind it to know the temperature that it's reaching, right? I mean, you set the dip switch to a temperature, so it has to know then when to turn it on and off. So there's got to be some logic in there somewhere. So I wonder if there is a thermal runaway.
And there may be. I don't know. I can probably put it back together and test that out.
But the crazy part is that thermistor wasn't on that aluminum plate, right? It was just in the air.
It was in the air channel, yes.
So it would only cycle that heater cartridge
once the air got to temperature.
When the air got to a certain temperature.
Yes.
Which means that cartridge was way hotter. Way hotter.
Yeah.
Whew, God, that whole thing is scary. But I think the biggest fail point on that is the fact that they're charging $140 for something that's. I mean, I got an $8 heat gun from Harbor Freight that'll do exactly the same thing.
Actually, probably do better.
Mike, never let the machines win. You do set it with the dip switch, but again, you're setting the temperature that the thermistor needs to read to turn on and off the heater cartridge, but the two were not connected. It was only measuring the temperature of the air inside that box. Uncle Ron said, "Did you call Walter a tip?"
Right.
And the heat gun is UL rated. Good point, Chris.
Well, yeah, Mike. The problem is that his design. It's not that his design cares about air temperature. That's not really the issue. The issue is the way they had the aluminum piece of ruler mounted in. It was just stuck in a slot in PLA. So eventually, and I don't know. I mean, I guess it would take a while, but eventually that's going to fall out. Then your heater cartridge has a chance to fall out, melt plastic, do whatever it's got to do.
We should invite that guy to be a guest on here so that
you go right ahead.
Well, no, in fairness, I mean, we can sit here and badger on him all day long, but shouldn't he have the right to defend himself?
He does. He does have the right to defend himself.
Well, I thought he would have by now.
Well, unless he's got no facts to back up his claim. I mean, I know somebody said that he was quoted saying something like it uses heat and chemical reaction.
Yep.
I would like to know the facts behind this chemical reaction.
Well, if you're dehydrating, if you're dehydrating material,
water,
yeah, you're separating the water from the material, so therefore there's a chemical separation. That's the only thing I could figure.
He doesn't have the internet.
Oh yeah, Sean Gould got it right though. He's busy counting money.
Probably.
Well, and Joel wrote me back. Joel Telling wrote me back and said that they had taken theirs apart at Protopasta, and the guys at Fill-A-Dry were working on a different design that they were going to send him for free. Okay. I don't see that. I don't see how they can do that unless they just know Joel's not going to bash him on the internet like I did. Because what you got now is a new path that takes 2 hours to go through the heating cycle. So it works more like a dehydrator.
It's getting ready to print, but the whole kilo of filament is now stuck into this box.
Exactly.
And oddly, the new Fill-A-Dry looks just like a dehydrator.
Well, it's like okay, my print time is 15 minutes, but it takes 3 hours for the filament to get through the Fill-A-Dry before it even starts.
Bennett said the guy's not very friendly, and that the way his website is set up and written, it's a mess. I don't know if I even went to their website.
He has been on these streams before.
He's been in our streams?
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Well, and I hate to keep harping on it, but it's like I told somebody I don't have a problem with them as people. Just stand behind your product and make a product that's actually going to do something.
Yeah.
Don't sell people a dream or a smoke. It's not even a dream. It's a smoke. Smoke. That's it.
Well, and the thing is like I will admit, I'm human like everybody else, and certain people tested the unit and said it was crap and didn't work. I would have still been skeptical, thinking that maybe it was certain people. But
yeah.
I mean, it was tested by none other than Chris Riley, and I know that he's very impartial and thorough. So I'm without having to buy my own, I trust that.
Well, and Carl brought up a good point on my video the other day. He said that the guy said at Murph that he had been soaking that filament for a week. Well, what did he do? Fly over from Israel with an aquarium full of water with the filament all in water?
Just a Ziploc bag.
Okay.
But only what? You can only bring 4 ounces or 3 ounces on a plane?
Well, in your carry-on you can carry more, but still. You're right, Mitch H. If he is in the chat right now, it would be.
Yeah, I would have no problem with that. I mean, in fact, I would feel better about it. But I'm sure he's at Bay Area Maker Faire.
But here's the thing. Let's get off of the Fill-A-Dry for a minute. David, the man behind glitch.org, is going to join me on building this Stargate. The one that designed it.
Oh, he probably felt you were never going to get it finished.
Well, I guess he figured I'm never going to work on it without him here. So, but no, I think Tuesday I'm going to get it out. We're going to lay the parts out. We're going to look at it. We may actually start mounting some lights to it, and then on Wednesday.
Now, when you say he's going to join you, like physically?
Yeah, he's in Britain, man. I don't think so.
Well, that's what I was wanting, like.
No, like on the stream. We'll do a split stream like we do here.
Yeah, because that would be some like huge collaboration to have somebody
fly from Britain just to come and hang out and build the Stargate with me.
He heard all the mean things you said about Philadry, and he doesn't want you saying it about his model.
No, I'm gonna tell you right now. I've seen too many of the working examples of that to do that. So if this one fails, it's all on me, man.
Have a good show, Ricky.
Later, Ricky. Break a leg. I mean, don't break a leg, but break a leg. Well, yeah, and Chris Culato's got it right. It is a Stargate, Glenn. So we could just turn it on and step through.
But he can use it to go home, but he won't be able to use it to get there because Walter hasn't built it yet.
Is this one of those Kevin Costner moments? If you build it, they will come.
If you build it, bad people will come through it.
Oh yes.
So
I think it would be awesome. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
No, I need some suggestions. So I'm trying to get this thing to work as a printer, this printer bot, but most of the pieces aren't there. It's pretty much just the bent metal, bent steel. You do get the rails, so I'm just kind of cobbling stuff together as I source it. But the biggest problem is I want to put a heat bed on it, and I can get the beds, but there's no room for a power supply in this thing, like a 20 amp supply or a 30 amp like we are used to. So I'm going to try to use a power brick. So my thought was for power brick, those things are kind of expensive. Xbox One, you can get those replacements for like $20 and they're 18 amp. So that's probably good enough.
Yeah.
But what type of connector would hold 20 amps that would be quick release?
What is it? XTC 60s or XTC 90s?
And I've got some of those, but they're not really handy to use, unfortunately.
I mean, I would think any type of RC car battery connector, like a Traxxas connector,
yeah,
would be fine. Silicone wire and some heat shrink tubing. XT90, there you go, 3D print Viking.
And maybe that's the way I need to go. But I was thinking, I don't have a lot of experience with those, but I had some somewhere. But I was thinking they were a lot harder to disconnect than I wanted to deal with. But maybe
use a 20 amp like AC plug and male and female on there. It'll definitely handle the amperage, and then for fun you can plug it into the wall later.
Just to freak people out. Maybe these are all I need then.
See you later, Bennett. Yeah, I mean, if you use like some decent silicone wire, and then heat shrink everything.
All right. Well, I'll give this a try then. That's what I needed to know.
I'm with Uncle Ron, man. Just twist the wire together with some electrical tape. You'll be fine.
Yeah, or a wire nut. Wire nut's good.
I do like wire nuts.
And they are disconnectable.
That's true.
But I think you said easily disconnectable.
Well, they kind of do it on their own once in a while too.
Yeah, right. Well, and you're talking about wait, are you talking about like disconnecting the plug power from the machine? Is that what you want to do?
Yep.
Yeah, so wire cutters work perfect every time.
Yeah, that's true.
So couldn't you then just use a regular barrel connector?
Well, I mean, all the barrel connect, and that was kind of what I was thinking, because there's really high laptop power supplies and stuff, and they use just a regular barrel connector. But all the barrels that I can find are rated at like 0.5 amp.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. So that's why I was just curious. I was like, what would they use? And I didn't think about RC car stuff, but yeah, they have those plastic clip types, the pin and sleeve deals. I don't know. This might get me by though. It'd be nice if I could find one that was panel mounted, but
Right. But you do, have a machine that could make something to hold it that could be adapted over to be panel mounted.
I do.
In fact, use a Cat 5, a RJ45 connector. And then just punch a couple of strands into each.
What is that? 28 gauge? That'll work.
Yeah, but you'd be using all 8 of them.
Well, that's true.
Andrew S. has a good idea too. The Tamiya connectors, and they do have panel mount connectors.
Like RC car.
I think the ones that are like the Tamiya connectors that are panel mount. I mean, that's technically just a Molex connector.
Yeah, but it's also depending on what Chris has on hand, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Amazon's just a day away, but.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, for you it is.
Yeah. 2-pin panel mounted hardware.
Probably for Glenn, it's probably only a day away.
It's we're getting there. My house now is being delivered to by Amazon, which, if you guys aren't familiar with that, that means that some guy that was delivering pizzas yesterday and might still be an Uber driver gets in his car and drives your package to your house.
Yep.
And for the most part, it's been good. It's been fine. But like, we had one guy that didn't show up until like almost 10 o'clock at night, and then rang my doorbell. Which I'll tell you what, if that guy didn't like ring the doorbell and run, he would have likely met with a face full of lead. And then we had one guy that pulled up in the yard. I do not have a circle drive, but he felt my yard was a circle drive, so he just drove off of the driveway and right to the front door, which I thought was a little ballsy.
Wow.
But yeah.
Yeah, we have the same thing here. And it's pretty much the same experience that you've had. It works most of the time. Sometimes it gets a little interesting, but
yeah, the only time we have an Amazon driver is on Sundays.
Yeah.
Every other day it's the Postal Service or UPS or FedEx.
So Mouser has got a barrel connector, a 2.5, 5.5. So standard size, panel mount, and it's supposedly rated at 12.5 amps. Of course, I looked it up as DC power connector.
Gotcha.
Not as a barrel connector.
I got a bunch of parts in a box.
Anderson power pole. That's chassis mount. Net keys. If you're talking about what I'm thinking. Oh, Glenn Hook said the same thing. Anderson power pole. Anderson, aren't they the ones that make the forklift connectors? The great big.
That's what you need, Chris.
Yeah.
All right, we can shut this stream down now. Tony Ryan finally showed up. How many amps, Chris Riley? 18 to 20 amps.
Yeah, I like to go big if I possibly can, just because meltdowns and such. But 20 amp would be great. I know, like on a ramps board, it's rated for those pins are rated for 5 and 11 or something like that. So, which is really too low. But
yeah, well, I have to go to our local library and fix their CR10. It has the issue where the aviation connector, apparently the pin got squeezed together.
Yeah,
usually from heat, and they didn't realize it, and it ended up burning the connector. Well, I don't want to put the same crap kind of connector back on there, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to put on there. And I don't really want to hardwire it, even though it shouldn't matter because half of the stuff's hardwired anyway.
Yeah, and that's such a bummer.
Yeah, they do like half on a connector and half not.
I know. I think I even mentioned that in one of the reviews. I was like, you were so close.
Almost made it.
God, at the amount of parts in this thing, man. Somebody should have told me before I got one of these
What is it?
that you had to be smart to put it together.
What is it?
Rep box.
Oh, the rep box.
Mm.
30 amp banana plug.
Say again?
Oh, it wants to restart my Windows 10. We haven't been able to update your device. No doubt. Today would not be a good day to reboot.
XLR 15 to 18 amp. I might actually have an XLR jack sitting there.
I'm sure you do. And that's pretty easy to connect and disconnect.
That's true.
John Gold makes a good point. Use 24 volt, so you don't have to push as many amps.
Thought about that.
Chris, I have a whole bunch of the CR10 power and heat bed connectors.
The thing is, Chris, is you could still use a typical power supply off of a 3D printer, that style, and just print a casing for the bottom half of it and use it like a brick.
Yeah, I could. That's true. All good ideas.
That's why sometimes it's good to have the hive mind.
That's right. Well, and that's kind of, with this thing. It's just I'm just guessing. Well, maybe this will work or whatever. So it's good to throw the ideas out there for this kind of stuff.
I have to tell you, this makes me want a laser cutter that much more.
Oh, I so want a laser cutter.
I'm sitting here popping out these little spool holder things, and I'm like, yeah, I really want one of these. Now, I think the one that Garrett has, though, is it's not a small laser cutter.
Who has?
Isn't it Garrett?
Oh, Travis.
Or Travis. Travis
No,
does, not Garrett.
That's not a small. I mean, the one that he has at home is decent size, and of course, the one he has at work is magnificent.
Yeah. That's the mounting kit. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was reading something with Chelsea and Garrett earlier.
Tony posted a link to PowerWorks. Oh, that's some fancy stuff.
All right.
I'd be so dangerous if I had unlimited money.
I wouldn't be.
Dungeons of digital debris. So if you're using original Xbox power supply, I'm using an Xbox One supply. I don't even know what kind of plug that has on it, but they have an adapter for $5. I'll have to look for that. The Xbox was the cheapest, largest brick that I could find, and it's almost 18 amp. Meanwhile actually sells those giant bricks, but they're almost $100.
Well, yeah, because you put the Meanwhile name on it, and it gets more expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's understandable. Their stuff is good, but Tony Ryan says he's looking for a bamboo forest in Minecraft. I haven't found a forest of bamboo yet. I've only found like individual growths of it in the jungles, and I've yet to find a panda bear. I'm having issues with my Minecraft server ever since that I went to 1.14, not 141, just 1.4. It's been really laggy, and the server is complaining that it's behind in ticks.
Xbox 360 can have 24 amp? Wow. I didn't know that. I should have had this stream before I started buying parts, I guess.
And get at the charity shop for peanuts. I assume that's like a thrift store.
Weren't there like recalls because that power supply was like burning people's houses down or something?
Yeah, but they weren't using it right.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I don't know if that's.
I feel totally safe now, so everything's fine.
I didn't have it plugged in right.
Yeah. I am the poster child for safety.
Just do an AC powered bed and be done with it.
Yeah, that thought had crossed my mind.
And then don't worry about the solid state relay or even a thermistor. Just stand there with an on-off switch going on off on off on. You'll get close.
Yeah, Chris, you really should have. Red Light probably could have sent you one for free. He's got all kind of Xbox stuff.
Oh, that's right. Man, I wasn't thinking at all.
Don't break. Don't break. You know, it's funny. The first time I ever seen an AC bed heater on a 3D printer, it was not long after I got into 3D printing, and I stumbled across this video of this guy. This to me, I thought, oh my God, what a moron! Why would you use an AC powered, heater on a printer bed? It was James from Print and Play. And I watched that video and I'm like, oh my God, this guy is crazy.
We're all gonna die.
Like the safety aspect of it just like befuddled me. But don't burn my house down. Don't you have boatloads of old PC power supplies laying around, Chris? That's a good point too. The ATX power supply have plenty of power.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know my calculations for wattage and amperage. I don't know if I have one that's very high watt.
500 should be more than enough.
Oh yeah.
I think so. I always have to pull up the fancy calculator to figure that stuff out. Even though my dad is a retired electrician and he'd probably kill me if he heard me do that.
I have a degree in electronics and I have to look it up. Yeah, 500 watts at 12 volts is 41 amps.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Or 41,000 milliamps.
What is it?
I'm having fun poking out plastic holes.
Uncle Ron said that is Canadian Electric. Isn't that 30% less power? No, it's just worth 30% less.
What is it? 220, 221, whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes. Oh. Yeah, my brother James hasn't been around to these streams in a while. He did DM me yesterday on the Twitters, but
he jumped into mine. He jumped into mine the other day on the filler drive for a little bit. I was glad to see him out.
He likes you better. He says that he's really, really, really working to get this other channel going. He's really into the retro gaming.
Yeah.
Brian Tibbett said, so I started my bear frame to fill the time.
Excellent. Your bear?
Yeah, your first at AMH. Carl from NAC 3D said 1.21 gigawatts.
1.21 gigawatts.
Oh my God, the cast of Back to the Future is in Orlando this weekend at MegaCon. I, even as geeky as I am, didn't even know that this weekend was MegaCon, or I totally would have gone.
This coming weekend?
No, like right now.
Oh.
Like today and yesterday.
Oh.
I was like, dang it, I'm going to be in Orlando next weekend. Should Chris, are you going to announce next week's Fun in the Country Basement today?
I guess so. I since there's not going to be one,
Right.
I'll be the bearer of bad news. We are going to take Memorial Weekend Sunday off.
Glenn and I listen, guys. Glenn and I begged Chris, but he was like, "No, we can't. We cannot."
I forced them not to stream.
Yeah, we were like, we got to have a stream for Memorial Day. And Chris is like, nah, I don't want to be here. And if I'm not here, you guys can't be here.
What you don't know is I'm the HR person of FKB, and we have required vacation days. I'm not messing around with you people anymore.
Crap, this has just gone. It's just gone too far now. If we have HR,
I know, right? Yeah, no, we're done. This is my last one. We're doing HR. Wait, isn't there supposed to be payroll when there's HR?
Yes.
Yeah. So no stream next Sunday.
No stream.
All right,
That
so
was my 6 weekly voicemail reminder that I get the needle in the eye this week.
well, that's good. I'm glad you get that.
Well, I mean, it is helping. I will give it that. It is helping. But this will be the third injection of the new medication, and then they're going to have to reapply for pre-authorization because it's like $3,600 per shot.
Wow.
Which is crazy, yeah.
Michael Fox, I think the check is in the email. I don't think it's actually in the mail. It's just in the email.
It's a virtual check.
It's a virtual check.
Paul Cumber has decided to join us today. How are you, Paul?
Hey, Paul.
See? I told y'all before we got on the stream, Mike said, how's he going to procrastinate next Sunday without us? He's going to actually have to do something.
No, he'll just completely procrastinate and nobody will be here.
Right?
Yeah, well, I'll figure out a way to schedule a rerun. That would completely mess with people.
Oh, that would be
that's
so
the very first FKB play as like automated.
Yeah.
So this think that YouTube took away the chat bar until they see themselves in the previous chat?
Yeah. Felipe Goncalves is back. Hadn't seen him in a while.
Who's that?
Felipe Goncalves.
Oh, yeah.
Brian Vines is here.
Want to mess with your local auto parts store? Can ask them to look up a water pump gasket for 1996 Toyota Tacoma with a 2.7 engine. Ask them to describe the gasket. Why?
Do I need to look up the gasket for that?
I once posted a for sale card on the bulletin board at the local auto parts store for three, not four, just three 1983 Corvette rims in mint condition. And I can't tell you how many calls I got, people looking for 1983 Corvette rims, because there was no 1983 Corvette.
Yeah, my dad's minivan that he had that he no longer has, it actually on the title said 2004, right? They didn't make one in 2004.
Wow.
They stopped in October of 2003. And I don't know how it got listed, but you couldn't find parts for a 2004 anywhere. That's like the Jeep Wrangler. There's no, what is it? I think it's 95. There's no 95 Wranglers, or it's either 95 or 96. There was one year there was none produced. One of the years.
That Carl's going to make me sorry I'm doing this.
Right.
That is pretty funny, Carl.
Did you look it up?
Yeah.
Send me a link in the chat. I want to see it.
Yeah, I will be kind enough to anybody that needs a gasket for their Toyota water pump. Here's the link to it.
And Carl said he needs a radiator and a heater core for a 69 Volkswagen Bug. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. I bet you'd get a bunch of if you ask the part guy to do that.
Paul, you probably can. No, that doesn't have a heated bed, does it? If you don't have a heated bed, then no, but you'd have to put an enclosure around it regardless. But I wouldn't bother with ABS.
What's wrong with ABS?
It's the poor man's PETG. There's nothing wrong with it. It's more of a hassle to print.
Paul said, yes, it does have a heated bed.
Okay, so you could just build yourself like a quick foam enclosure and slap it over the top of it, but
wrap it in saran wrap.
You just not on a monoprice mini. You can't.
That's right.
There's no frame to wrap it around.
Well, you could, as long as you were like building something that was pretty much a straight line.
Probably be hard to get the mini up to, depending on the ABS you use, a decent temp to print ABS. I mean, you could probably print it at 240 maybe on that. I don't really remember. But
Carl said, I told my guys to say it was too anatomically correct to describe.
Sorry, Paul. It was a joke, buddy.
Turn up the heat in the house.
Yeah. There you go.
Put it next to the fireplace.
Or you could just set it outside here now.
Oh my gosh, it would melt.
We're like right next to the sun, I think.
So I've been looking into solar, getting solar panels for the house. And like I just started this week, so I don't have a whole ton of information on it yet. But I know somebody who did it out in Nevada with the Tesla system. And his electric bill dropped to like $30 a month.
wow.
Now, of course, he has to pay for the solar panels. There's a monthly charge for the solar panels, but I have 4,000 square feet of roof that I could put solar panels on, which would be the garage.
Yeah.
I think I could power half the neighborhood.
Yeah, you need to run a line to my house if you do that.
Well, the power company does buy back what you don't use for a percentage.
You know, the only thing that I hate, and I'm not going to say hate, that's a strong word. The only thing I find stupid in the state of Florida is you cannot disconnect from the grid no matter what.
I've never looked into it, but
Is there a reason or?
It's a state law.
yeah.
By law, you have to be connected to the
Yeah,
grid
you can't-
in order
you
to
can't-
live in a structure.
Right, you can't have a domicile without municipality supplied electricity.
Gotcha.
Now, you can build a system that doesn't use any of it. Actually, the co-op that we have for power, they don't actually buy back power, so you can't make any money, but you can run your house without using their power.
What I thought was crazy is my power company, the meter that they use, the net meter that they use to buy back the power, if there is a power outage, it shuts off your solar as well.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Because it doesn't handle stopping the feedback. Because obviously if a tree falls on a line and then the guys come out to fix it, they could be electrocuted because you're pumping power in. So I can understand it, but why wouldn't there be a fail-safe in there to stop it from back feeding at that point?
Right?
But supposedly there's some kind of battery backup you can put in there that fixes it. I don't know. I haven't looked into it totally. And then the fact that they have regulations that you can only size your system, and I forget the way it's worded. It was worded kind of weirdly. I don't know. The way it was worded, it makes it sound like the size system that you put on your house can only be 90% of what you consume. So like you have to be less than 100%. So you still have to buy from them.
That's ridiculous.
But the upside is during the daytime you produce more than you use, they buy it back, and then at nighttime you have to buy it from them. So, but I have to do the math and make sure that the return on investment is going to be sufficient. I'd hate to invest a huge amount of money, and then like we move or whatever. Not that we're gonna move, but.
Yeah, John Mack did get a big solar system installed last summer. Him and Ken got a pretty big set up in their yard.
I'll have to ask him.
How many planets?
Uncle Ron, it kind of is like a transfer switch automatically right in the meter. Yeah, you definitely want to live in a state with a lot of sunlight.
So Washington State.
I don't understand why, mainly here, like, here in the state of Florida, state of Texas, Arizona, Nevada, like why the power companies don't go to these businesses like Sam's Club and say, listen, we want to put solar panels on your roof. We're going to give you a cut in your electric bill, and just let it, other than the cost of the panels, it would generate electricity for free.
One problem with that, Glenn, is when those businesses leave and go to another location.
Yeah, but you could cut a contract. You could cut a contract with them, and then generally those businesses already have a contract with the building owners or whatever. I mean, I realize like Walmart's moved from Walmart to Super Walmarts, but how often do you see a Sam's Club move?
Well, we had one move twice in Tallahassee. So
That's weird.
they actually turned both of the old ones into Walmarts. And so, I mean, the contract would still say the same. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But,
well, and then I mean, they could go to like, okay, the plaza where our Best Buy is. Best Buy doesn't own the building. They've got a 25-year lease on it or whatever. So they could go to that business, the plaza owner, the property owner, and cut the deal with the property owner.
I think
give them some kind of incentive.
I think that's more transmission lines than it is actual area that's needed for it's the other infrastructure that goes with it.
That infrastructure's already there.
How?
You're getting power to the building.
Well, no, I understand that, but you're talking about just supplying power for that building?
No, I'm talking about generating whatever power that it'll generate, laying it back into the lines. I mean, chances are whatever you generate off of, let's pick on Best Buy. If Best Buy agreed to have solar panels on their roof, and obviously you couldn't cover the whole entire roof because there's mechanicals up there and stuff, so they put a solar system up there and it generates a certain amount of power. Chances are Best Buy is going to suck in more than they're generating out of those solar panels. Now, Best Buy doesn't know one way or the other. Their power is just coming in. So, Carl, that would have to be part of the contract. I don't know. I mean, the panels themselves would be maintained by the power company, but it would actually put the building partially into the shade. I mean, not that it's going to make it that much more efficient, but that's going to add a layer of buffer in between, so you don't have the sun beating directly on the roof.
So I gotta interject here. Technical question, Philippe, about two Z motors, auto line gantry. Yes, so it's in configuration. If you're using Marlin, configuration _adv.h, it's actually pretty close to the top. You can just uncomment, use E1 as your second Z, so 2 stepper drivers, and then you configure the end stop. You can use maximum or minimum or whatever, but you have to assign it a pin, and you should be able to find the pin info in your pins file. It's not really. It sounds kind of difficult, but it's not that hard. So yes, you can do it.
Also doable on the Duet, because you said Marlin, but
Duet, Marlin's the best.
Duet handles it as well. So I had a company reach out to me, a 3D printing company, and they want to cooperate with me. And they offered to send me their BL Touch auto leveling kit for review. And so, like, immediately upon reading it, like, I just got this sinking feeling that it was a knockoff, and there's no way I'm taking a knockoff BL Touch. One, because I've heard horror stories, and 2, because they were kind enough to sponsor me. But I went and looked, and it's very possible a legitimate BL Touch. But every printer that the kit's made for, I don't own, except for the CR20 Pro, and I don't know why they would make it for the CR20 Pro, because it already has one. So I just kind of declined. I said, I really appreciate the offer, but I have no need for that kit. I have no way to test it.
What size is that CR20 Pro?
It's like 220 by 220 by 300, I think.
Okay, because I've got the S, the CR20 S Pro. Oh, okay, that's the same one you had. I was looking at the one to the left. What is that?
This one?
Yeah.
That's the CR10S Pro.
I was fixing to say, because I was looking at the CR20S Pro over here, and I'm like, man, that CR20 looks much bigger than mine.
Yeah, that's a 300, 400. This is the 20 Pro here.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I've only printed off of that thing one time.
I've printed a couple times, but it prints pretty good, I have to say.
I have to admit that I've only printed one thing since Murph. My printers have run once, and that was a vase that Xander asked me to print for somebody.
I've printed 3.
I have had 0 3D printing motivation. And then I've been waiting on the guy to get the ball screws in stock for the FK1, and I decided this weekend that I'm not waiting any longer. I'm gonna go to a standard lead screw. I'll just order them from Ziltech. Those should be good enough quality to be straight at 650 millimeters. And then because I want to get moving on that thing, and I don't know, it's taking the wind out of my sails, and I hate it.
Yeah, Vince, I think most Walmarts do that. Brian Tibbetts asks, has anyone ever got a misdrilled heat bed from Prusa? I don't even know how that would happen.
Impossible. Prusa does not mess things up.
Rick Cisco from Maine, welcome, buddy.
Are we talking about like the actual heat bed itself or the carriage?
He said heat bed.
Well, I know what he said, but I was asking for clarification.
I just figured there'd be a jig that it has to fit inside of, and it's being a weird shape. It wouldn't fit but one way.
Well, how does that even? Now you got me curious. How does that even work on the 3? I don't remember.
Because it's got the standoffs underneath.
Well, in the 3, it actually has screws that go from top down because of the removable sheet.
Right.
But they're still well, they're standoffs, but there's a screw through it, and so it's a standoff, right? So yeah, no, I don't.
Maybe it's not. Maybe depending on how much it's off, maybe it's not actually misdrilled. Maybe it's like maybe it was misthreaded, like cross-threaded, and it's just caused the standoff to be off, or maybe the standoff wasn't drilled properly. How far is it off?
I've had a Mark II. I don't know if he said 3 or 2.
He said 3.
Yeah, well, I had a 2 that the standoff.
He didn't say.
No, he said misdrilled heat bed from Prusa.
I had a Mark II that the standoff was tilted a bit, and that would consider, I guess that would technically be off. But
I can get the 6 outside holes to line up, but not the center 3, or the center 3 and not the outside 6.
Is it upside down or backwards?
Yeah,
backwards?
Is the carriage on backwards? Like, did it get rotated?
He said
back in the back and the front.
He said they're sending a new Y carriage, so maybe it's the Y carriage that's drilled off.
Yeah, but even then, I'm sure all that stuff is CNC'd, and CNCs never make mistakes.
Yeah, all 6 go straight into the squashed frog, and on the 3 it doesn't matter if you flip it anymore. On the 2 it did, but on the 3.
But what about rotating like front to back?
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like if the left was on the right and the right was on the left, if it was rotated around the Z-axis.
Yeah, so on center, left to right, they're 215. And
he said he sent pics to Prusa. Yeah, he really worked with Shane in tech support, and he doesn't care. No, just kidding. Hello to Maine, to Rick Cisco.
Yeah, there's 5 millimeters difference. So yeah, you could flip it 90 degrees, and it wouldn't work.
Well, I was thinking 180.
That wouldn't matter, but yeah, it is. It's just 4 legs, so you couldn't spin it one way or the other. But
well, because you'd still have to have the bearings. Like if you turned it 90 degrees, the bearings would be wrong.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, now I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So, but if it went all the way around, so like instead of the single bearing being on the right side, the single bearing was on the left side.
Gotcha.
RCCNC said the Mark 52 bed holes are not symmetrical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holes are 2.53 millimeters off.
Wow.
Interesting. Well, keep us up to date on that. I'm curious. Everybody's entitled to mess up once in a while.
I'm still procrastinating.
I haven't had my mess up yet. Paul Cumber wants to know how many 3D printers do I have? I can't count that high. I can't count that high.
Hold your hand up. Hold your hand up.
1, 2.
So you can keep track. There you go.
I have to take my shoes off so I can use my toes.
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 currently. I have 11 currently, but one of them technically is no longer a 3D printer. It's a shelf piece because it has Joel's signature on it. This one has been given away. It just hasn't left yet. And another one is going to my local library. So.
On to the next issue of the day.
Which I hope my local library's not watching now that I said that because I haven't told him yet.
Chris looked like he was carrying his toolbox to work.
Glenn, you're on the Fun in the Country basement. Of course you messed up. Yeah, this is my punishment for messing up.
HVAC A to Z said Sergio says the FK1 counts as 3.
Yeah. Or technically 4 if you did. No, 3. Yeah, if you did 400 by 400 millimeter beds, it would be 3 printers. Yeah, I haven't fired that thing up at all since Murph. That's how unmotivated I've been. I don't know. Murph really took it out of me both physically and mentally this year. And then without getting into details because it doesn't matter, there was some conversations after Murph that just kind of kicked the wind out of me. So, but it'll be okay. Everything's good. We'll get back into it.
Jake, Matt, what kind of probe?
And I don't think that you could measure noise without a scope. Just something I really need to buy.
And I'm still wondering. I'm still trying to figure out if it could produce enough noise to mess with a probe.
Oh, really? BL Touch?
Yeah.
To mess with a probe?
I mean, a BL Touch is technically just an on-off switch.
Well, it's a Hall effect. I mean, it's got. I mean, it would have a coil in there, but I can't imagine.
But I mean, it's not really sending a data signal. It's.
Oh, he's talking like that kind of thing.
Well, I'm thinking like it's giving misreadings based on noise. Your power supply caps would have to be crap, and you can't measure noise without a scope. No, John, nobody said anything about the FK1. Gosh, I'd have beat him up for that. No, I'm just kidding. No, it doesn't have anything to do with the FK1 directly, and I love listening to what people have to say about the FK1. I got so much feedback and input about the FK1 at Murph. It was a fantastic experience, and I have to say, at the point that Sanjay from E3D came over and I have pictures of him like climbing into the printer and pushing on stuff, and then Joel telling me that he's known as the product breaker at E3D, and he had nothing negative to say when he pulled his head out of there. I mean, that was awesome. So
Z minimum won't trigger with the extension. That just sounds like a bad BL Touch.
I was going to say, have you tried another sensor?
No, Z minimum won't trigger.
I get bad readings from clone BL Touch, but all okay reading every 0.5 times, then it's good. Yeah, I've heard some bad stories about clone BL Touches.
Yeah, y'all seen my map that I put out, that my BL Touch puts out? I just think it's a bad BL Touch. I think the probe went bad.
No, your bed is shaped like a mountain.
Oh, it could be a mountain range. A mountain range. This piece of glass has it's not as flat as Kansas.
That's why the FK1 is that size. It's built to hold a Sanjay.
Oh, he said he's tried 3 of them, all genuine. So.
And what mainboard?
Ramps 1.1.
I like to ask questions like that, so I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
We're just gathering information for Chris to form a hypothesis.
Yes, just keep talking it out, guys. I'll get it in a minute.
That's pretty much exactly what's happening right now.
No, so 3 different sensors. Definitely, what's the main board? What's the printer? Are you running native Marlin or something someone's hashed together? If you're running native Marlin, do you have a pull-up resistor on or something that you're not aware of, maybe?
And what about the power supply, like brand-wise? Is it a quality power supply? Because if it's a crap power supply, I could see that happening.
Sean Gould, I don't have a way to show you other than to show you it's a circle, right? And in the lines, it's supposed to be like a flat map. Mine's not. It's like this. And they're in straight lines. So like it'll do a point, that part is flat, then it'll do this point and it'll be lifted, but they're all lifted in that line.
Let me ask you though, Walter.
Up and down. What's that?
Let me ask you something. Does it change significantly each time you probe it?
No.
Then I wouldn't say that's a bad BL Touch.
It's not the bed. It's a piece of glass.
But if it was a bad BL Touch, it would be different every time.
I can see that.
Like,
I can understand. I can understand that. But I still need to figure out what's going on with it because I have no idea.
Walter, I would like to run through that sequence one of these days, like on your afternoon show or something, just to follow that step by step, because I've seen that map and it is a thing of beauty. But I would like to know. I would like to know what's causing that.
That map is so awesome. It has a name that I can't pronounce, like Martin's landscape.
Yeah, right. Martin could paint it and it would be beautiful.
No, it's a medium power supply. All right.
That would be pretty awesome.
Did we get what board? SKR 1.3.
Ooh.
I'm going to try to wire it up with shielded twisted pair. Oh, I can't imagine that's what it is. I run my BL Touch through over 1 meter of wire.
Okay, so first off, is anybody else in here running a SKR 1.3? Because that's roughly $23 of awesome.
BL Touch can be affected by a magnetic bed. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Chris.
No, that's fine. But I think Jake Matt was he recently went to that SKR 1.3.
Matt.
Yeah. He just
gonna stick. That's gonna stick.
I've been calling him that forever.
Jake Matt.
What's up, Jake Matt? How you doing? Yeah, I know glass is not completely flat, but it doesn't make straight mountain ranges across your board.
What is the and I forget the measurement, the mean or whatever, like how much is it saying it's off?
Like 0.06. 0.07. 0.7, not 0.7 now.
Flip the glass and see what it does on the other side.
You can't flip the glass on here. It's mechanically put together, yeah.
Permanently mounted?
Yes. And it's just funny that it went from 1 minute doing a perfect like it's supposed to, and then all of a sudden I get this mountain range.
Yeah, so maybe a bad sensor. But again, I would think that it would be erratic.
I understand that. Unless it's only broken in the same like circuit every time or whatever it is. The same calculation. I don't know. I have no idea. My name is Swamp Guy Larry's in the house.
Swamp Guy Larry.
Oh wait. Yeah, I've been here.
Well, so Jake from State Farm, if it is it just the 1.3 that's causing it?
I don't know if he's tried it.
Yeah, so if you come back and say that it's the SKR 1.3, it's only happening on that board with the BL Touch, I will test that scenario right now. But if it's happening on multiple boards, I got nothing.
A Fatal Paper Cut wants to know if that's a monoprice mini Delta next to the A-net and how it is.
It is. And if you need $49 small Delta printer, get one. I have nothing bad to say about it other than it's loud and it's small. I don't know. Chris has one as well, I believe. Don't you, Chris?
BL Touch is actually supposed to release a version 3.1 to address all these different version issues.
Haven't tried it with any other board, so it could be that board, man. Well, probably not 2.0. Yes, I do have one of those mini deltas, and for the money, just buy one. They seem
Right.
for that kind of money, they're decent. All right, let me find that board and I'll hook it up. And we'll see what it does.
Loud.
It's funny how like Chris is like, oh, new project. I'm just gonna do this.
I'm just gonna. I've got one of those hanging around. I'm just gonna hook it up right now.
It would take me longer to get this stuff out and get ready to do it than to.
Yeah, Chris is done already. Look.
Yeah. Now I got to find a BL Touch.
It's printing a benchy. Look.
Oh, I got one right here, Chris.
Thank you. Where would that be?
You know, I can't wait till that day.
I like to just keep them, just handy.
Put that in the mail, Glenn. Wait, I'm going to Orlando this weekend. I'll stop by your house on the way back.
She was really cool when I reached out to her to get sponsorship for the FK1. She's like, well, how many printers do you have? And I'm like, at the time I think I had 7. I'm like 7, but I only need it for 1 printer. So she sent me 3 with the extended wiring kits. She's got to get a Twitter though. It's really hard to like give her props when she's not even on Twitter.
What servo pins are you using, Jake?
Steve Peterson come in and said every time he enables the BL Touch on his SKR 1.3, the board stops being recognized by his computer.
This board likes to do that on a lot of different occasions.
Carl, I decided I'm not sending you anything. You're just too mean to me. Yeah, for those of you guys who are waiting on the prizes, they'll come. I had some issues this week that stopped me from sending them, but everything's boxed up. Those of you who are overseas that won the nozzle torque wrenches, the shipping is ridiculous. Even for that stupid little thing, they want like $50 in shipping. So, but I'll contact you guys all directly and we'll figure out what's going on. I'm thinking because I'm sending a roll of filament to Derek that maybe I can send everything in one box and then have him forward it on so that it's just like $150 shipping and then, a few pennies on the other side. So, but we'll work all that out. It's ridiculous to spend $50 to ship something that small to begin with, this small.
When you can buy it from them and ship it online cheaper.
Well, and they're in Sweden.
Yeah.
So these came all the way from Sweden, and then it's going to cost a fortune to send them back. But get Walter to send the overseas stuff through the Stargate.
Y'all do know that doesn't work, right? Come on, if you're Stargate fans, you can't gate. You can't gate through a main Stargate from Earth to Earth.
No, of course it doesn't work. It's sitting back there only half assembled. Get on it, would you?
You're lucky this is family friendly. I'm going to break out my family friendly toothpick. It's turned sideways. Here you go. It is ridiculous, though, a lot of the shipping.
It truly is. And I mean, I understand that there is logistics and fuel and stuff involved, but at the point that I've put them in a padded envelope this big, and that's going to be $50, and it doesn't weigh anything.
Well, and my daughter's dress was in something about that big, and it weighed less than half a pound, and it was $50.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
No, Ron, I am not toothpicking to cut down my vaping. I am cutting down my vaping because we're going to be going to Disney a lot, and there's no more vaping or smoking in Disney World parks.
It's not good for you anyway.
I'm just reducing. Neither is talking to you, but I do that.
Yeah, but I don't come with a Surgeon General warning. I seen a commercial. It played like it was an online commercial in the middle of one of my games that I play. And it was these puppets. It was the Truth Organization. And they were talking about how vaping diminishes your immunity system. But I always have, like, it's always muted, so I couldn't hear what they were saying. It was just two puppets, and then like they went in to kiss, like they were on the front doorstep and they were gonna kiss, and all of a sudden the male puppet like threw up, which was just like a ribbon coming out all over the girl puppet. It made me sad I didn't have the volume on.
Well, 3D printing and painting, you are correct. Vaping for you is much better for you than smoking, and that's firsthand experience. Not everybody. My uncle, he cannot vape because the moisture that it puts in his lungs causes him a lot of problems. But you're right, the hacking is gone. I can smell things better. I can taste food better. I can breathe better.
But you know what's even better for you?
Quitting?
Neither one of them.
Yeah. Scott Latine, what do you mean Disney's such a buzzkill? Oh, because they're stopping smoking? I get you, man.
Who's the Scott Latine guy that keeps showing up?
I don't know.
Oh, how are you today, Scott? And 3D Jimmy, good afternoon to all from South Florida. How hot is it in South Florida right now, Jimmy?
It's closer to the sun than we are.
Oh my God, and it's always so miserably humid down there.
It is. I think the best thing. Yeah, I know 3D printing and painting. I know I make my own juice too, and there's 3 chemicals in mine as well.
I like to just breathe in the smoke while I'm soldering.
But I think it's
welding.
3D Paw. I think is the closest one to me. Hey, you got a window unit? I'll drive over to FWB to get it.
Oh, you know, it's funny. We're doing a job. My company's doing a job up in Panama City Beach, and some of the materials that we have to pick up are in Crawfordville.
Really?
And I'm like, they're like, where is that? And I'm like, it's about 30 miles south of Tallahassee. And they're like, how do you know that? And I'm like, because I know people that live there.
You're about right. I don't know what they could be picking up in Crawfordville.
It's stone or something. Maybe it was mortar. I can't remember.
Well, we do have a massive amount of sand here. I don't know about.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe the sand was coming over the mason.
Yeah, we got a pretty big sand mine down here. Guy owns 40 acres, 50 acres, something like that, and it's pure sand, just pure sand.
Carl, now that's not nice. Leave Scott alone. He didn't come in here to answer your technical questions.
Any updates on Marlin for Duet? What's up, Carl? Oh, Jimmy said it's only 88 down there right now.
With 125% humidity. Yeah, I don't even know what it is here. I got to look. It feels hot.
I actually, 3D printing and painting, I actually just went down on my nicotine on this last batch that I made. I put 1 milliliter of nicotine into 2,000 milliliters of juice. Yeah, you said the humidity is 200% right now.
Carl, if it wasn't already boxed up, I'd take it right now and put it on the bench and smash it with a hammer in front of you. No, really. 46 in Wisconsin. Wow, is it really still that cold? 200% humidity in South Florida.
Well, Chris, what's the temperature there?
It's pretty warm. Is
that what the phone says? Pretty warm. Last updated 10 minutes ago.
66.
That's pretty warm. That's pretty warm. It's 90 here.
Well, I don't live in the jungle.
It was snowing about 2 hours north of me. Wow, that is crazy.
That is nuts, man.
I remember years and years ago, we had taken the RV on a big trip. We'd gone out to California, to Colorado, and when we went back up and through South Dakota and stuff to go to Minnesota. And the morning we were leaving South Dakota, it was snowing, and it was in July. I'm like to the guy. I looked at the guy. I said, "It's snowing," and he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Do you guys not know it's July?"
Kit said it's hot. That's what it is here in Florida. Duh.
In Florida.
What's up, Sean? 84 in Canada.
Now I don't know. I don't know if 3D Jimmy is on the East Coast or the West Coast, but I know that Kit is over on the East Coast, but also in South Florida. Pete C said I was going to be building my DIY Zerabo today, but UPS decided to hold my shipment from Misumi until tomorrow. That's annoying. I hate that. Even if it's something I don't absolutely need right now, like with Amazon, like I'll order something just because, you know, I need to have it or whatever, and it won't show up when it's supposed to, and I'm angry. Even though I didn't need it right then. It's like, you told me it was coming.
You have anger issues, Lynn.
Lee County by Fort Myers. My mom used to live in Fort Myers.
Oh, my dad was raised in a Immokalee.
Well, I was married in Fort Myers and honeymooned in Venice Beach. We wanted a place that was halfway between us and South Florida, or Miami, so that everybody had the same amount of time to travel.
Hey, Sean, some people do enjoy the tropical climate. Some people do.
For one weekend a year.
Yeah.
I just don't go outside in the summertime. It's so hot. Like working in the garage and stuff, it is so hot. I need to get a Portacool, but they're so stupid expensive.
All right, it's uploading. We'll know in a moment. So what was the problem again? What doesn't it do?
All right, Jake Matt, what doesn't it do?
No,
Is it
I don't. Was
3.0 or 2, Chris?
I got one of each.
His is a 3.0.
Okay. This one is a 2, but I believe the 3 is the one with the plastic pin. I got one of those around here somewhere.
I got one right here. Just, we need a teleportation box. I'm surprised Walter's printers have survived this long in that heat. The printers, yeah. Come in one day and it's just a big gloopy mess.
The thing about it is, though, as long as they're not in direct sunlight, it doesn't get that friggin' hot in here.
Uncle Ron said that I don't go out in the winter either because of the influx of fossils. But when I mean go out, I mean like outside. I don't go out in public ever. I don't like people.
No such file or directory. What do you mean, main board?
So my power supply fan got all loud and rattly on the llama core. So I pulled the supply and yanked the fan, threw some thick MT bike chain oil in the bearing hole. She's quiet. Maybe too quiet.
It won't work with the Z minimum trigger connected, the black and white wire.
Okay.
Yeah, kid, I'm afraid this weekend because we are going to Disney World this weekend for Saturday and Sunday and Monday because it is Memorial Day weekend. So we're going to go for Monday as well. And it's going to be friggin' hot, man. Disney is it's just hot. Oh yeah, Mike's right. The Philadry does teleportation, Chris. We need to each buy one so we could just put stuff in the Philadry and it would show up at your house.
That's why we bought that.
Steve Peterson said for his SKR 1.3, it does work with the Marlin version downloaded from Big Tree Tech. He just tried it. It doesn't work with the latest download from marlinfw.org.
Well, this is version 2 of the BL Touch, and it just sits here and flashes at me. And if I take the minimum in-stop pin off, it flashes faster.
Well, Jake Matt just said it does work without the extensions. Same for all 3 BL Touches and 3 boards.
What? Let me find the other one.
Slug.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
they do place $7 bottles of water to cool you down, but you can get at any concession stand in Disney, you can get free water.
Yeah, they have to supply it.
Yep. And there's water fountains throughout the park. I mean, it's not cooled. None
Right.
of them cool the water, but you can get a glass of ice water for free at any concession stand.
Yep. Tony Ryan wants to know if there's any hate mail from Philip Drive.
No. The only thing that I've heard was from Joel. He said that they're working on another version and that they're going to send it to him to test. But that's all I know. I haven't heard anything from them at all.
I think they need to send it to everybody who's bought one.
But I think you're right. Somebody asked me another question. Ron asked me, would it be cooler in my trailer if I turned off the filler dry? It would be kind of hard to turn it on right now because it's all in pieces in that box.
Multiple people are saying bad extension, maybe. My Misfit, $7 for a bottle of water? Yeah, that's if you find it cheap. Everything at Disney is expensive.
I think actually in Disney right now, bottles of water are $4.50.
Yeah, they were at SeaWorld, they were like $3.50.
I think they're $4 or $4.50 for a bottle of water. So, I mean, you know, I told my wife, I said, I thought about getting a Camelback to take and wear while we're in there, you know. If I'm going to be drinking lukewarm water, I might as well just drink it out of a Camelback.
Which PL Touch is it that needs the resistor added between the leads?
Do a what? Which BL Touch needs a resistor? Is that what the question was?
Yeah, Scott Latine. Now, I know that, and it's been a little while, I know I read something when I went to put mine in, there was a certain condition that you had to cut the...
You have to cut that trace?
Right.
That's the 5-volt, 3-volt.
There you go. Yeah, I couldn't remember what that was for.
That's the only one I know about, the one Walter's thinking of.
Yeah. And that's, you have to do that on the, what you call it? The Duet.
Not just any water, artisanal Swamp Guy Larry water. That's worth the $7 right there.
3D Jimmy? No, I did not. Did you bring me one yet? I'm waiting. Come on, man.
Steve Peterson said, to be clear, and I'm sorry if I'm stepping on Jake's toes, I'm just bench testing mine. It stops being recognized by the PC when I enable BL Touch. There's no stepping on toes here. It's no worries. It's the fun part about these streams is we get to kind of just do stuff.
Scott, Jake answered you and said that's the 3.0, but the SKR doesn't have a high capacity resistor. Tony Ryan says, well, that settles it. I'm just putting mouse ears on my cat's head and the water slide in the backyard. It's Disneyland.
And then moments later, the lawyers show up.
Hey, 3D Jimmy, just throw them in the back of your truck and drive up here, and you can be on the stream with me when you give them to me. I don't know where he said he lives in South Florida, right?
Jimmy, yeah. Fort Myers.
Oh, in Fort Myers, that's right.
Scott Latine wants to know which BL Touch versions are okay with a capacitor on the end stop lead and which ones don't like it.
And Jake said that's the 3.0, but the SKR doesn't have the high capacity resistor.
So the resistor shouldn't be needed.
Yeah. How did I know you have a truck? Glenn told me.
What?
No, 3D Jimmy asked, how did I know he had a truck? I said, you told me.
I don't know Jimmy has a truck.
You're the all-knowing. I ask you everything.
Oh, you're right.
You've been around so long, you should know everything.
My mother thinks that my name is Google.
Yeah?
She will call me. She will call me and ask me something, and I'm like, "Did you Google it?" Well, no. And I'm like, "Well, let me Google it."
Hey, we watched
the answer.
we watched a video this morning. My wife and I were sitting over there watching it. It was one of those, some people shouldn't be allowed to technology. And there was one where the guy taught his mother to text, and she texted him and asked him a question. He goes, try Googling it. So then she texted him back, Google, how do I? She kept texting him.
Yeah, a friend of mine works for Verizon. He's a manager at the Verizon store. And he said they have this guy that comes in, and they were trying to teach him how to, do the OK Google thing. And he'd go, OK Google, how do I? Like this. And then the phone would time out, and he's like, see, it's not working.
Yeah, Ron, I think you're the only one that caught that.
Well, this one doesn't work at all, so.
The funniest thing that I ever had with Google was when we were in Goshen, and we were leaving to go to the Chili's that night. And I pulled up the phone and I said, okay, Google, navigate to Chili's. And it said, oh, there's 2 options nearby. Which one would you like to go to? And I out loud, I said, I don't know. And the phone came back and said, well, that makes 2 of us. I thought that's pretty funny. Look, Chris was tired of us talking. Now he's typing in the chat.
Yeah, he's just typing in the chat. But remember, Chris is one of those that took forever to get on Twitter, so he is kind of antisocial.
A little bit. Yeah, that one don't work. I'm not sure where the other one is.
We'll take that one apart and fix it.
We'll probably
redesign it.
Just add some chemicals and some heat.
It'll be the BL Touch. It'll be the BL Touch Chris Riley inappropriately.
I was just going to say that I had a bag of parts, but
hey, you need to swap the leads closest to power. It's 5-volt ground signal.
Yeah, you look like you have your wires wrong there, so you need.
Yeah,
closest to power, it's 5-volt ground signal. Is it?
that's what he said. That may be why his isn't working too.
5-volt ground. Oh, he's right. Well,
look at there. Chris Riley was wrong. Mark it.
Hook it up to the Philodry.
But Jimmy, I didn't know you had a truck. I just kind of figured.
I have Alexa. What Google do you get with Pi to change voice on it to Jarvis, etc.? I have no idea. I don't have either of those two. It's bad enough my phone is constantly eavesdropping on me. I don't need more devices in the house. I told my mom, because my mom has an Alexa, and I told my mom, listen, that thing is listening to you all the time. It is constantly using what you say for marketing research. And she's like, oh, you're such a conspiracy theorist like your father was, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, look it up on the internet. It listens to you. And then when that case came through where they used the data to bust the murderer.
Yep.
I'm like, there you go. They're recording everything you say at all times.
You can actually go back and listen to it in the Alexa app. You can go back.
We've absolutely invited Big Brother into our house.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Riley is never wrong, just mistaken. Right.
Do what?
Chris Riley is never wrong, just mistaken.
That's right. I was mistaken, and I apologize.
And
even a working watch is wrong twice a day.
Wrong twice a day.
I don't think it works that way, Scott. So here's a question. I have an aluminum Titan Aero clone. Only plastic is the hob gear. Oh, that's a great thing to have be plastic. Okay. I'm wondering if that would act as enough of a heat sink that I wouldn't need a hot end fan. Ooh.
Aluminum Titan Aero clone, only plastic hub gear. I say no.
I say no as well.
You might get away with it. Here, unfortunately, here's the scenario that you're going to run into. So it's working great. Then you start this 80-hour print, and the last 10 hours, everything goes to crap, and you lose everything.
Or it melts your plastic hub gear.
Yeah, there's another possibility. Okay, so that issue has been
Mike, I agree that it does have to listen continuously to do what it does, but it doesn't have to record you, nor does it need to use whatever you say for marketing. The one that really I'd been telling my wife about the fact that you can talk about something out loud, and then all of a sudden you will get Facebook ads for it.
You do know you can turn that off, right?
No.
Yeah, you can turn that off in the Alexa app. The marketing.
Oh, I don't have Alexa. But what was crazy was my wife actually got a Facebook advertisement for a Rick and Morty coffee mug that like the advertisement said something like, you know, great gift for your husband or something like that. My wife has nothing to do with Rick and Morty. And like, we don't talk about Rick and Morty out loud in this house, like, because nobody else watches it but me. So it purely went off of what I've watched on the internet to the fact that her and I are married, and then gave her targeted advertising that way. Alexa actually mentioned my wife's name when answering a question today. See, that's getting too creepy.
My Alexa Auto, I actually like it. I'm not gonna lie. It's in my truck, and I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does it do for you?
Well, it does things better than the phone does by voice
control.
Oh,
it's built into the sound system, though, right?
Well, it connects to your phone, and you just run the Alexa app on your phone. So it basically just sends commands to your phone. But their voice recognition is so much better than the stuff that was on my Huawei.
Okay, it's working.
It's working.
3D Jimmy Xander's doing well. He's on the other side of the wall playing video games where he always is on Sundays.
Yes, I can control the BL Touch with commands.
All right, so see if you can trigger the Z minimum in stop with it.
Let's see if it's triggered right now.
Yeah.
Not triggered.
Chris Gulata, I don't think so. Sometimes I get ads for women, you know, out of Russia or China. No, not really.
But Brian, we're not saying that. We're saying Alexa.
Alexa, order some Hatchbox filament.
There's one thing you can do that will get right by Alexa, and I'm not going to do it because it's not very nice. But yeah, you can repeat last order, and if you have one click order on Amazon, it'll immediately order. Yeah. Right, Brian. Mike's over here yelling cancel. I have learned to hit the mute button on mine. So mine is muted right now in here where it can hear y'all. So I can say echo and it doesn't do anything.
Alexa, tell me a joke. Did anybody get a joke from Alexa? Uncle Ron said I should make you go outside and play, Xander.
You should.
Or you can say they were at the park walking around.
The one I love is Alexa, sing me a song.
Sean Gould said Alexa cancel all Glenn's Fun King yellow filament orders. Oh, that doesn't come through Amazon. That comes directly from IC3D.
Yeah, Slug Prince says he does recall having a Walter Echo party on my stream one night when I walked away.
Sergio, I've had a lot of people ask about CR10s connecting to the Pi. It could be a couple of things, but it's something flaky about that serial port on the CR10.
Well, now what's weird about the CR10S Pro, when you plug the Pi into that thing, it powers up the screen. I don't know how much of the printer it's holding. Obviously, it won't print, but with the power off, even with it unplugged, the screen stays on.
Yeah.
So, and then it's the interface. I had to put somebody wrote a Python script to get the temperatures to work right and stuff. It's not directly compatible, which makes me dislike that printer.
Yeah. Jake for State Farm. This version is 3 days old that I'm using.
Hey, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Your top gantry, the top part across your printer is warped.
Yeah, probably
It's
so.
not straight. It's not straight, man.
No. Yeah, it's getting more warped as time goes on.
Yeah, you need to get you some clamps and steam it, man. Straighten it back out.
That'd be actually kind of interesting if I get that to work. It is plywood, so all the glue would probably run out and it'd probably separate. But
Oh yeah, we just put a whole bunch of liquid glue up top and then run the steamer on it, make it, then let it seep back down in there.
Yeah, it's the only printer I have that does that though. None of the rest of them hold the screen up like that.
Slug said you need to iron your printer.
Jake, you can have my code. I mean, I'll send you a link to the code that I'm compiling. I mean, you'll have to change everything around for your printer, but it might actually be kind of close. It's configured for this one, so I mean, it's Cartesian anyway. But you say it only happens with the extension?
Do you need to try an extension, Chris?
Yeah. I wish I could find that 3.0 version, because I'd just go ahead and try that while I'm set up, but I don't know where it went. It's with all the pulse parts. Do you remember where I put the pulse parts? Because I'm sure it's there, wherever that is.
Oh well, when I was there the other weekend, they were.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You saw it, right?
Yeah, it was in that box.
Yeah,
that box with the stuff on the outside.
The brown box.
I don't remember exactly where you put it, but I bet it's right where you did.
Yeah, I bet it is.
Probably in the last place you're going to look for it.
Oh, well, that's always the case, is it not?
I did put it right where I thought it was.
Sean Gould says it's behind you.
It's in a box behind you. Sergio says, Chris, if you were to upgrade the CR10S, what would you buy?
I always get my CR10s confused. Is CR10S the one that already has dual lead screws, or is it bigger? Or I don't remember which one S is.
I think the S is the one with the dual.
Okay. I don't know. CR10s are actually pretty good out of the box. They need a little more part cooling, but I mean, you could do that with that's a pretty easy upgrade. I would like if I was gonna buy a CR10 and then use it a lot to make it more efficient. I would like to bake all the electronics underneath the printer. I think that would be a great upgrade for.
Oh yeah, get rid of that stupid control. I hate separate control boxes.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, the only printer I had with one of those, other than the Trunks EX1, was Taserface.
Yeah,
and, that might have just ruined it for me right there.
Bob S., the i3 MK3S clone failing XYZ calibration. Any tricks or suggestions? Every time mine has failed calibration, my i3 MK2S, whatever, it's been the X gantry is unlevel. Just a little bit, but that's what it's been every time.
On Mark III?
Yeah.
I don't know what version of firmware it was, but if it's unlevel, it'll actually correct itself now. It'll go all the way to the top and fix it, and then come back down.
Right, but it's a clone, so if his top plates are a little bit off, that it would still do that, but it would be a little off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha. I didn't.
And that's what happened with mine. Mine were just a little bit off, and they were enough off to keep it from calibrating correctly.
Yeah. 3.0 works too, Jake from State Farm. Sorry, man. I don't know what's going on.
Yours
I tried.
working too,
Yeah.
but you don't have any
my extension for you, I guess.
Yeah, try that. Maybe he's got a bad board.
Yeah, Mike. Mike, definitely. If you're going to enclose it, and you can get the electronics outside of the enclosure, you're better off. I just hate that external box from, like, if I move the printer, like if I bring the printer over here, it's cumbersome to carry it and stuff. Don't pick on Taser Face the Frown King. That printer made me rage more than once. Kind of like when I talk about Facebook.
This part of this thing is almost done printing. That's very good.
Yep. It self-tests. Hold on. S10, I think, is pinned down. Nope. How about 60?
What is that yelling?
Beck's watching TV.
Oh.
Yeah, we're also going up in a puff of smoke.
Printer is not online. Well, that would be a problem.
Well, there you go.
All right. So 90 is up, I think, and 60 is down.
Thanks,
Enough.
Jimmy.
Let me just reset it.
Yeah, Jake asked, it did go through the self-test. He said that here's the BL Touch 2 works perfectly, but many are having inconsistent trouble with the 3.
Yep, self-test is good.
And the 3 is the one with the plastic pin, right?
Yeah.
The 2's all had metal pin.
Yep.
I can't.
Sure, Jimmy. That'll work.
Pin is out. Pin is up.
I love the
Extension's
fact that when they package these BL Touches, they make it look like a smiley face.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right down to the eyebrows.
Optical sensor working on Duet. Walter, you probably have on your printer? You probably have opticals, don't you?
I did, and there's a step-by-step on it. You did it for a filament runout sensor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not ever going to do that again.
Well, it was that difficult, huh?
Well, I mean, did you do a mechanical one? I didn't look at your design.
No, I did an optical, but I was using it on a Rambo and Marlin.
Well, I mean, even then, though, there's filaments that it won't detect correctly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the only filament I can get it to detect is black PETG.
Yeah, I mean, I got mine. Mine would do most of the opaque filaments, but anything that was semi-transparent of any type, it would bow out on. White,
Yeah.
it had problems with.
Mine is actually a mechanical device triggering the optical. So
Well, that design should be fine. And if that's the case, then, and I don't know where it's at, but you can go to the forums for the Duet, and it is straight up, it's step by step. It took like 2 minutes to get
There's
working.
not really an issue of hooking an optical switch up to the Duet.
No, not at all.
It's just for filament runout, because I'm going to use optical switches for my Z leveling.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that either. No, the filament runout sensor, using it as optical, it's basically what Prusa had a problem with, is that the optical sensor was there and they made it all nice and dark, but there's certain filaments it just won't detect. That's why that mechanical process is needed to trip that optical sensor.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's how the one I just put together did. It's pretty much a rip off of what Prusa does. It's a steel ball that the filament slides a flag out of the way to trip the optical.
Right.
But I was taking that as he's having a hard time getting the optical to working on the Duet board.
Well,
Which
I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't do anything except for follow their directions exactly. And basically, they give you the line that you have to paste into the config to make it work. And then you can tweak it a little bit. But I don't even think I had to tweak it. I just pasted it in, and it works.
Gotcha. 3D Jimmy, no, I didn't get a Spaceball yet. I still have all my information you sent me, but I don't have one yet. Although every time somebody mentions Spaceball now, I spend the rest of the day doing Spaceball isms.
Netkey said version 2 BL Touch or BLT, which makes me think of a sandwich. Nom nom nom. Have plastic pins. 3 is only been out a couple of weeks or so. It's having problems with straight marlin. Teaching Tech and TH3D was discussing it in one of their recent streams.
Huh. Okay. Well, then I don't have a 3.
Aaron Seeger said he struggled with optical on Octoprint and gave up and went with mechanical. See, that's scaring me. Oh, on Octoprint.
But that's in Octoprint. I don't understand how that would make any difference. If the switch is switching, then Octoprint only knows that it switches. It doesn't control it. So
yeah, it's the same 3-wire config. I mean, that shouldn't matter, right?
Steven, hold on, and I'll look at my config. Well, I'll have to plug it in. I'll try to get that config to you because it's straightforward. One line of code, and you're good to go. Only laser? No. That didn't make any sense.
Only sensors with the lasers.
Because basically all you have to do is use it like an in-stop switch, right? And that's it. That's all you have to do. I don't think it's specific to filament runout. So you can't look for filament runout sensor. You can kind of use it as an optical end switch and then use that to turn off extruding and tell you that it's, out of filament or something. There's no like, it's not like just this is the filament sensor. But yeah, I can do that. I've got the line on my printer.
Bingo! Found the problem. Bad connector on the board.
There we go. I like it when problems get solved. No, this SKR 1.3, spoiler alerts, that's what the video on Wednesday is about, installing these. And I've gotten more questions on this board than I think anything I've ever done because they're only $25.
Yeah, I'm going to have to order me one of those to play with. Officially, Duet only supports their runout last sensor. I could be wrong. 3D Jimmy, thank you for asking. The keyboard is actually functioning right now by the skin of my teeth. I worked on it on and off throughout the week. I did finally order, last night I ordered a schematic for it, which will be here whenever. It's currently working, so, knock on wood, hopefully that stays going. But it's shorting the board out because I was measuring the voltage. So it's an AC power supply into the board, and then the rectifier bridge is on the board, and it puts out 9 volts. And when I flex the board, it drops the power to 0. So it is shorting out. But the problem is somewhere in the middle of the board, and the power supply is way on this end. So it's somewhere in between. But we're going to get it. We're going to get it.
There you go. I got it.
What you got?
The link for Jake.
Jake Matt?
Jake Matt. There you go.
Now I got to work on this thing.
Chris Galata, it's very possible I've kind of looked as much as I can. That thing was made quite some time ago, and there's a lot of revisions to it. You know, like back in the olden days, they would. I mean, I know that they still do it sometimes, but now it's so much cheaper to manufacture. But there was a lot of parts like where they cut through the traces and ran jumper wires. So it's fun. It's fun to diagnose, but I can't. There's so much stuff on that board that I can't really tell what's what. So I want to get a schematic of it first, and then I can start to trace the power connections and stuff. And again, another reason that I should have a scope. His name is Matty Jake. Say it correctly.
We're done.
So it's a M591 configure filament sensing.
Yep.
Okay, so that's nothing to do with what I'm doing.
Nope. But the end stops, the optical end stops, Glenn, they trigger just like mechanical ones. So
Right, that's how I understood. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I would have just used 4 mechanical switches.
right.
But the benefit to the optical is I can make the blade that triggers it longer, so that it triggers before the nozzle runs into the bed for leveling. Then it'll get leveled, and then it can still drop below that to actually print.
Yeah.
If Marlin ran on Duet, not saying anybody's name, we could set up UBL, and that would be an interesting map on the FK1. I don't know how many circles it would take, but it might take 4 hours to run it.
I think his initials are Scott Latine, right?
His initials are S. Scott Latine.
Yeah.
That's why we have Walter. It's his art of subtlety.
Oh, RCCNC reflowing that whole board would be such a pain. I should have taken a picture of it so I could have shared it with you guys. When I take it out again, I'll take a picture of it. But I thought I had found a spot where they had cut through a trace that, like, I was metering it and it was still making contact. And so I thought, well, maybe that's what it is. When the board flexes, it's touching. And I finished cutting through the trace, but that didn't fix it. Chris, have you ever tried any SmoothieWare board?
Yes, I have one. SKR 1.3 will actually run SmoothieWare. Funny you say that. SmoothieWare, to me, SmoothieWare is too difficult. And it's not the... So there's only a handful of boards that it'll support. The boards are overpriced, and they've been working on the next version of SmoothieWare for a long time.
It's garbage. Shh. Just say it. It's garbage.
Yeah, it's not as fully baked as some of the other available options out there, like Marlin. Scott, I have not tried Marlin on Duet, but I am itching to. So if there is actually a way to do it, or anything close, if I could even just step my foot into that door, send me something on Twitter.
Just do it.
Yeah, I know. I would love to, though.
You can do it.
And I guess the only thing that really matters is what processor do I use? Because I don't think that one's in there. I think that's where I stopped looking. Yeah, Smoothie's doing a new Kickstarter, and they've been saying that they were going to release it, but I don't. The last update.
What? Does that mean we get to start kicking them now? Two point oh mostly works on Duet. Oh, I've lost all sound. I have no Chris sound. Glenn, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I can't hear Chris. Look, he's got to change batteries again. I
There he is.
was wondering why everybody shut up.
My wife just said we're being boring today.
I bet.
That it's really directed at you guys in the chat.
Well, yeah, I'm sure it is because they,
I gotta say that I love this new mic pack that I got. It's not cheap though. It's like $170. And I'm not just saying that because they gave it to me that I like it. I really do like it. It's a Pixel WM9.
wow.
But
Everybody ain't able.
what's that?
I said everybody's not able
Everybody's not able.
to get some nice mic like that.
No,
Like
I'm not even sure.
Chris is using like Rhodes or something. I mean, he's like high dollar stuff.
Well, yeah, this isn't that level of stuff, but I mean, it's a huge improvement over my $30 fine ones.
Yeah. So that was my question when my mic ran out. Scott, what board do I use for the config that would have that processor or be compatible with that processor? And I will definitely try it.
Chris Gullo said more old jokes. The old jokes were getting old. I got to find something new to pick on Walter about.
I made one old joke, and the only one that caught it was Ron.
Yeah, nobody cares about your jokes.
Right, that's what I mean. See,
Your old jokes are so old.
We can't find about Slick 3R anymore. So
right.
Well, we still can, but
Me and Chris are right, and you're wrong. So
you're never right. And Chris has only been wrong once ever, but
yeah, I decided to start YouTube. Panel do JSON.
even the old jokes are getting old.
nothing wrong with JSON. Just send it to it, man. Send it to it.
Yeah, that's the chip, Carl. Let me just pull this up.
If there's a cloud coming out of the fan on my power supply, is it just moisture? Can I just throw it in a dehumidifier? You need to hook it up to the Filidry.
Chris Gulata got it right. Nobody notices me. I'm just the old guy rambling on.
Oh, Walter, you're here. You're really here.
I am. I thought about muting my mic for the whole episode just to see if anybody noticed.
So this little flexible tripod I got, which I can't pick it up any higher than that because that's all the cord I have. They show it on Amazon with a 920 hook to it, but you can't actually put a 920 on it because the screw is too long.
Make a spacer.
Well, that's exactly what I'll end up doing, or I'll just grind the screw down a little bit. But it's just funny that they advertise it with a 920 on there, and then the 920 doesn't actually work on there.
Hey, make sure you check the box and the washer's not up underneath the flap.
What?
You know how sometimes you get stuff in a box and that one little piece that you need is like tucked under the flap in the box?
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is all bagged up and stuff. It also came with a little remote control because it came with this. It came with this piece right here that you can put a cell phone in. So it just like spring loads onto your cell phone, which is really cool.
Right.
And then it came with a remote control, a Bluetooth remote control that you hook to your phone so that you can push the button to take pictures. So you don't have to try to like touch the phone while it's on the tripod. It's pretty cool. It was only $12.
Okay, yeah. So now I understand. There's a comment in the code for SAM3X8E processors, so that's what I would have to use. All right, want to try it? I'll report back.
You know, that's how you're going to know that you really made it, Chris. Is when one day when you go in to edit Marlin and there's a note in there specifically to you.
I have thought about that before because Tom has, his YouTube link is in there for instructional for Marlin. I'm like, oh, how cool would that be? I made it into the comments of Marlin.
Actually, what'll happen is you'll get a comment in there with a link to buy your sticker from Printed Solid.
There you go.
No, Scott, and see if Scott linked to me, it'd be like, don't do this.
Right. Yeah. Go watch this guy's channel and do none of that.
This is how you do not do this. Hey, Chris, but since we can restart the stream right now, you can go ahead and do that duet thing while we're sitting there watching.
Yeah. You're right on that.
Yeah, get your stuff together and see if you can.
Yeah, it shouldn't take you no more than about
Five
5
or so
minutes to
minutes,
try
it'll be
that
fine.
out.
The problem with it is it's now 6:02,
Yes, it is.
and poof, there went Chris. He was going to check something and he never came back.
One bad Marine said he had a good hangout with Scott last week. Anytime I get to hang out with Scott, it's a good hangout, man. Anytime.
Yeah, I didn't get to meet Scott at Murph. I mean, I didn't get to do a lot of things at Murph.
You snuffed a lot of people at Murph, man.
I did. I told you that Chapman, Dustin said to me that I ignored him twice, and I'm like, dude, I didn't even know.
I mean, if you go back and you watch the live streams, you can see it, man. People are walking up to you, and you just turn your nose up and look over them. I mean, I don't even
Did I
get
give
it.
him the bird? Did I flip him the bird?
No, that was Xander behind you.
Oh. Well, I will tell you that Earth is going to be different. I do want to do some actual interviewing at Earth. It's going to be more about the people. I'm coming at this point. I'm 99% sure that I'm not bringing the FK1. That I'm just coming to represent Fun in the Country Basement, and then
I think that's all of us. I'm going to try to bring the Stargate, but it'll just be set up to show if I get it done.
you're not
and-
fired up.
What's
Let us
that?
use it.
No,
You know-
I'm gonna let it run the whole time it's there, as long as it'll run.
So we can like zip over to another world.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Well, maybe I can get my crack reporter to show up at Earth.
There you go. If we didn't do the giveaways, we'd have a lot more free time.
Oh, I know.
The giveaway doesn't take that much time, does it?
I don't know. I spent most of the day Saturday explaining how it worked.
Maybe I'll make a poster,
There you go.
and then when people say, "How does it work?" we can just point at the poster.
I'm tapping the sign.
Yeah. I refuse to speak to you until you read the poster.
You must read the poster first before talking to me.
Oh, you have questions? Please first sign this that you have read the poster.
Just put up a poster that says FAQ. It's like a website, just FAQ. Then they'll know what they're doing.
Yeah, we'll have to work out all the details on that. We'll make
All
it make it slightly easier at Earth than it was at Murph.
Time for supper.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know. You guys rock, paper, scissors, and then do your outro.
Go, Walter, go.
I'm Walter, and I'll be here on Tuesday on Country 3D. And I guess I'm going to try to put this rep box together that I laid out all the for and didn't touch today. So Tuesday we're putting together a rep box. Come check it out, Country 3D.
I'm glad that I waited to buy my rep box because now I get the new one.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right, I am Chris Riley of Chris's Basement. Thank you all for hanging out with us today. Fun in the Country Basement is always a good time, and you are all much appreciated. There will be a few more videos coming out. Wednesdays and Sundays. We'll see if I can make Marlon work on a duet. Sorry, Jake from State Farm, I couldn't reproduce your problem, but better no luck the Sunday after next, because not next Sunday. We won't be here. But we'll see you all later.
Real quick, Steve Peterson just said, so I downloaded the latest Marlin from their GitHub, and I'm not getting the same problem I was before. The version I was having trouble with was at least a few days ago. So that's good news.
Yeah, that's good.
But that leaves me. I'm Glenn, and this is Fun King 3D. And as always, I thank you guys so much for being here, because, again, these streams would be dumb and senseless without you, except for the fact that I'd get to hang out with my friend Walter and my friend Chris. We do thank you guys for being here. And as always, Fun in the Country Basement or funcountrybasement.com. We'll always have the link to the stream, at least by an hour before the stream. I was a little late putting it up this week. I forgot that I was hosting. But also on that page at the bottom, there are subscription links to all three of us in case, for whatever reason, you haven't yet decided to subscribe. If you don't want the notifications, that's fine. But at least hit that subscribe button. It's how we know that we're doing well in the world of YouTube. And it's also how eventually we will earn one of those fantastic play buttons to hang on our wall. Which they'll probably stop doing that by the time we get there, won't they?
Probably.
I don't really have another streaming day during the week, though. I am thinking about adding one. I just have to figure out when Walter's not on. which seems like all the time. But
Monday and Friday and Saturday.
what
Monday, Friday, and Saturday.
are the days that you don't do it?
That's not that I'm not doing it.
Oh, but Monday's so close to Sunday.
I know,
Friday's got the 3D printing hangout.
right?
Saturday.
They don't go in. They don't go until like 10 though. So
Oh yeah. No, I know. Yeah, we did it. We did it on Friday night. In fact, we were doing it on Friday nights to lead up to the Friday night, and that was working pretty well. But I used to do it on Sundays at this time, but that worked out really well. And then for whatever reason, I started doing this. But
and also remember, no FKB next week.
that is correct. We will not be having a stream next week because Chris Riley's a jerk and doesn't want to.
Yes.
So, but no, we will resume this 2 weeks from today. And whose turn is it to host? It's yours. Isn't it?
Mine.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but we'll have that information up on funcountrybasement.com. I wish I could get fkb.com, but I'm sure it's taken. Anything else? Anybody else?
That's it.
I guess not. Thank you, guys. Love each and every one of you. Be safe and be kind to each other. And as always, print on.